how this works is we have a list of questions that we'll ask, we'll kind of just go back and forth on, unless we have questions from the audience. So if you guys that are watching have questions that you want us to answer or address, put those in the Q&A at the bottom of Zoom, or the chat, or even just raise your hand, and we'll get those questions from you. So, how you doing tonight, Scott?
Fantastic. My last day of the trip that we've been on for be 3 weeks Saturday. So
Yeah.
almost a 3 week trip. And today's the last day, and I got a humongous drive home tomorrow from New Hampshire to Ohio. So yeah, I'm doing great. Today's actually my oldest son's eighth, or I'm sorry, sixth birthday. It's 8/8 is his birthday, but today he turned 6.
Nice.
So we have spent the whole week celebrating that. He's just had a freaking ball. The kid, today's his birthday. I think he took like a 3 hour nap because he's freaking exhausted because we've been at it for like a week, kind of
Yeah.
celebrating for him. And he got a new bike for his birthday. We went and got it, snuck out and got it for him while he was hanging around the campground one day. I'm telling you, his poor little legs have got to be exhausted because
Yeah.
he's had to have put 20 miles on that thing.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's good to hear. It's amazing that you can take that time. I mean, it's the middle of the season, middle of the roofing season, and you have the freedom because of where you built your business to be able to take that time and spend it with your family.
Yeah, it's funny too because it must have been 2 days ago. 2 days ago. I was on the phone a decent amount. I think I was on the phone with you one time. I was on the and it wasn't even really a lot of it wasn't even business related, but one of it was about a commercial building of mine that I'm trying to lease. Just a few. I just had like a lot of phone calls a couple days ago. And Henry, my oldest son, he's like, "Man, Dad, you've worked a lot today," and I'm like, "Dude, I used to work a lot. I ain't done shit today." He's so out of touch.
Yeah.
Now when we go home, because he thinks like every time we're traveling on vacation, I still work. Like I still do a little bit of work. But he's like, so when we're home, I'm grinding. But when I'm gone, he just thinks I shouldn't answer the phone or do anything. I'm like, no, dude, I
It's more
ain't done shit
visible.
today. I've taken like 10 phone calls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not been that stressful of a day. But no, I mean, we built a lot of processes and it took a lot of time. And it took a good team. That's what, I think you can credit any good business to the people that are in it. Dana White said it in one of his interviews over the years. He said something along the lines of, you build a kick-ass team, you kick-ass together, you win together. And that's kind of the mentality. And if you don't have good people, you can't have a good business. Like if you just hire a bunch of shitheads, you have a shitty business. So you got to hire good people and have that in place. But then you got to start utilizing things. I mean, I'm gonna throw a plug, and it is what it is. But if it wasn't for our adoption of Proline and using all the tools that it offers, honest to God, I'd have to have at least one more person on staff to take care of the things that automations are taking care of for us, or I would have to be much more heavily involved in the daily operations. So, if you can do a few things right, put a good team around you, and then utilize some of the software that's available to you today, it's possible. It's just getting those things right.
Yeah. Getting everything set up.
Yeah, and we're busy as shit. Hell, back home, actually, the last 2 weeks have been our most successful weeks of the year. And
Wow.
I don't know if you've been on our pro line for any reason here lately, but um, I share some stuff with you with our account. But right now we have 50 sold jobs in our one column. So we haven't even ordered material for these jobs. I don't remember the last time I saw it over 20. And right now we have
Wow.
50. And that's not because of a lack of production. I mean, we got 3 crews humping it every day.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, I think some of it is when I leave, the guys feel a little less pressure and they just go do their damn job. And they don't worry about me calling them or me pestering them. No, they just know what the job is and they just go do it. So
Yeah.
I think that there's something to be said for that too. Let your people kind of take the reins if they're good people.
Yeah. 51 jobs. That's
I
a
think that's what it is.
yeah. That's a lot of jobs. That's what's how what's been the most impactful thing? Are you able to look and see like what's the lead source on most of those jobs?
So our lead sources are the ones that really kill it for us are referral or Google. And when I say well, I'm talking about organic Google. So now the reason being we rank top three in every market we're in. So that's huge for us. Mind you, I haven't really paid for any SEO work. We rebranded this past December. It's a whole new brand. And one of our locations is a brand new
Google My
Google
Business.
My Business page, and it ranks number two in that market already. Now, mind you, it's a smaller market. It's not real big. This is not a capital city or an Atlanta or what have you. But we just do the simple things and we do them consistently. Add updating photos to the GMB page, always responding to our reviews, working really hard at getting reviews. Just the really basic stuff, and it freaking works. I know a lot of guys spend a lot of money on SEO, and I don't really, I don't really get it. Um, I think if you're in that big of a market where you're going to be spending tens of thousands of dollars to rank on SEO, the chance of you ranking's fairly low anyway. Say you're in Columbus, Ohio. That's familiar to me. Not 2 hours away. We're not there. We don't really plan to go there right away, but we'll never rank there. I could spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and potentially never rank. So I would just rather take that hundreds of thousands of dollars, put into other organic sources like Facebook or even paid sources like Google ads or Facebook ads, which I didn't really have success with myself, or hell, hire canvassers. Hire canvassers. You hire three canvassers for, I don't know, 110 grand, 140 grand, somewhere in there, even 150 grand. How many leads could they produce you a year? So I think the ROI is low. I'd rather just do the small things, do them right, do them really well. If Google ranks you, great. If not, put your money into things that you can control.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Like you're saying, a lot of it comes down to your market. If you're in a big, massive market, it's going to be very hard to get any because it's how many other people are putting in. If you have five companies putting five or $100,000 into SEO, then you're gonna have to spend at least 100,000 SEO, and you got to beat three of those companies. So, um, yeah,
Here's the
got to
problem though.
focus
I looked at
on the area.
well, and I looked at Columbus at one point. This has been a while ago, so who knows where it's at now. But the one company that ranked number one only had like 50 reviews or something like that, which is not a lot, not for that city. Hell, we've got 100 city and or 160 in little old Marietta. And they ranked number one. But the one thing I noticed, it said they had been in business 60 plus years. You're never going to beat that. Like you're literally now they were 5 stars, but I look at their website. It's not a real great website. It's not it's not like nothing jumps off the page to say, yeah, these guys, they're spending a ton of money and kicking ass. The only thing that jumped off the page was they've been at that same location for 60 plus years. You're never going to beat that.
Yeah, yeah, just time in business. It has such an
Yeah.
impact. I got a question here from Christian. So his question is, how do you estimate your total job cost for jobs? I'm guessing he's referring to price. Christian, if you want to clarify that, like how do you price jobs? Is that the question? or is it how are you keeping track of costs? Because those are really two different things. But you can answer both, Scott, maybe.
So well, honestly, both of them kind of receive a similar answer just because of how we do it. Again, we use Proline, and because we've put the time in on the front end for our proposals, all of our costs are built into every template. So, for instance, if Josh, my sales guy, goes to a job, it's a shingle roof, re-roof. There's a template with all of the material he'll need for that. All he's got to do is plug in the proper measurements, the amount of ridge, the amount of starter, the amount of hips, the amount of valleys, whatever, total square footage. He just has to plug in these 8 to 11 numbers, depending on the job. He plugs those in, he can't screw it up. And we have that, inside of Prolines that got a great setting to where we can set these margin numbers to where he can't go less than a certain percent on margin. So I allow my guys currently to go to 25% gross. Now we start at 30%, but if we have to go to 25 to sell a particular job, I do let them do that. But he typically doesn't go less than 30%. So as long as he can read a tape measure or order, like an Eagle View type of report, and just plug in the measurements that the report or the tape measure gave him, it's right every time. Like there's not anything to screw up. Our margin is built into the cost of labor, and our margin is built into the cost of the material. So overall on a job, we make 30%. What was the other part of that question? How did he respond?
Yeah, he has some clarification. He's asking, how do you estimate material and labor costs, which is what
Yeah,
you just explained. So
yeah. So but you got to put the time in on the front end. If you're using a CRM like Proline, put the time in on the front end, get your material pricing from your supplier, plug all that in, to the penny, and then only set margin stipulations on what your sales guy or what yourself can sell at. And then that way, you'll always, if you sell a job, you should never lose, unless catastrophe strikes or something. But overall, you should never lose.
and now, I mean, there is some work to do on the front end, but I mean, our out of the box templates for Proline have almost everything set up. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a few things you might have to change, but we got everything covered in there right now. More so than, when you started, Scott, like it's the calculations are all in there. The measurement fields are all in there. It's all customizable. You can go in and change it however you want, but we have it set up out of the box to work.
Right now, uh, uh, a contractor, especially, I mean, honestly, any contractor, unless you're really wanting to doll it up, make it pretty like ours are, but to send really, really nice, accurate proposals, the only thing you have to do right now is take the out of the box templates and just edit the pricing in each line item. Because maybe I pay $35 a bundle of shingles, and maybe you pay 38.75.
Yeah.
Okay, just change the 35 to 38.75. You do that down the list, you can't screw up.
Yep. And we're starting work on um, our supplier integrations right now. We're going to have an ABC supply integration. And so that's going to even become easier. It's going to be possible just to connect your ABC account, click a button, and all their pricing, the local pricing comes in. So that's going to get even easier here in a month or so.
It'll be really nice because we just got an increase, and beginning of this week, my one of my guys, John, had to go through and update all of our damn pricing. So that'll be, we're excited for it because, and it's not like it's overly time consuming, but it's a couple hours of your day to update your price sheet. So if anything that a CRM can do to save your company time is super valuable. I mean, we save a ton of time in many aspects of the CRM we use, Proline, but every piece of it adds up. If it's just 2 hours twice a year or three times a year, because it seems like price increases are more common now than ever, but that's 6 hours a year. That's 6 hours they don't have to screw with that or pay somebody to screw with that. So there's a ton of value in any of those kind of features.
Yeah. Christian followed up. So he's a consultant focused on data analytics, works with roofing companies. And so wants to figure out where that fits in with Proline. So I was just going to address that real quick. We do have a lot of good reporting built into Proline, and we are further improving that. But all of our reports, you go to every single graph, every single list that are in our reports, and you can export the CSV document of that data. And we did that intentionally because there's another one of our certified partners does something similar. He works with roofing companies and likes looking at the data and stuff like that. And he was like, this would be huge for me as a consultant if I can go into the reports and, it's nice the reports that you have here, but if you would let me pull that data out and manipulate it and organize it so I can present that back to my clients, that would be huge for me and allow me to work better with my clients. So we already have that built into Proline specifically for your use there. So you can export those lists, you have all that data, and then you can run whatever you want on it on top to really dig down into the data.
Just to throw a piece in there too, if you're a consultant and you're in roofing, there is not an easier CRM to get your people to use and to help them implement. It's so easy. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what I've used in the past, but
Yeah, go
you
for
know,
it.
yeah. So I started my business with nothing, just using QuickBooks, right? And we didn't have a CRM. Quickly realized that you had to have something. So we actually my best friend had a landscaping business and he was using Jobber. And so he showed it to me, and we kind of always bounce ideas back and forth. So I was looking at it, and I'm like, yeah, this is great. This is way better than what I got. So I bought it, and I used it for 2 years. It really was good. Um, but there's zero customization ability. Like, and I mean zero. So you just have to use what it is, and that's okay. But the problem is we quickly outgrew it. As soon as we opened another location, the only way to continue to use it was to buy a franchise jobber to where we had. So basically, I was literally just paying for two accounts, and they didn't sync up. You had to pull separate. It's not built for that. Come to find out, when I was talking to the people with that were kind of partners with them at that time, we were currently one of their biggest customers as far as size of company, which was kind of funny because I thought we were like nobody. We'll come to find out we're way bigger than most of the customers. So then we moved to JobNimbus because of the customability. Well, it JobNimbus is very customizable. You can do a lot in it. You really can. And good luck because you're going to need it. And you're going to need a lot of time and you're going to have to spend tons of hours doing the customization and then figuring out how the hell to use it because it is much as you can do there, you get lost. Like it's such a confusing program to use. And at the end of the day, as a consultant, you're dealing with roofers. You might have some guys that are, some college educated guys that got into sales and decided to start their own thing. That happens. That's common. But it's not like they're software guys. They're sales guys. They went to school for sales, or maybe they went to school for business or something like that. They're not software guys. You're not going to have a high success rate trying to get roofing contractors to use something that is difficult to use. Proline falls right in the middle. It's very customizable, but it's also once you set it up, and setup today, like AJ said, a year ago, 8 months ago, whatever it was a little bit tough, not super tough, but just a little. I figured it out, and I'm an idiot, so it wasn't terrible, but it we I know I've spent some time with AJ, and he has put tons of hours in to make it literally very, very easy to set up, but it's even easier to use. My guys, they'd shoot me if we switched. Like they would be very upset. My guys would be upset if we switched because they love how effective it is and how user friendly it is.
So it's a good clip right there.
There you go. Save that one for the commercials.
Christian said his current client is using JobNimbus. Said the amount of job status values is giving him a headache. You can't even figure out how to calculate conversion rates with them. Or
Dude, the
he's having
reports are
trouble
so hard.
calculating. Yeah.
And they even revamped it to insights. Right before I left, they released the insights, which is their new reporting feature. It was much better. Before, my God, was it awful. Like, it was so hard. It was so hard to understand and figure out. Now it's better, but it's still very difficult. And it's very, like you say, it just gives you a headache trying to get through it. It's just too many options, too many pages, too much clicking. It's just too much. So yeah, I'm with you. I agree.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks for the Christian the questions, Christian. Appreciate it. Let us know if you have anything else. Otherwise, we'll move on to some of our questions. All right. We'll hit this question. So, speaking of, we're on the CRM topic. This question comes from someone that doesn't have a CRM at all, and the question is, how would getting a CRM? I don't have a CRM now. How would getting a CRM improve our company and sales process?
I mean, it's easy. It's literally the hub of it. Like that everything that you do inside of your company revolves around your sales process. So to make it work, you have to have and a CRM. I want to say this: that term gets thrown around very loosely, right? Like everything's a CRM, right? Like let's just be honest. I mean, honest to God, a notepad and paper and a whiteboard can be a CRM. It really can. Like honestly, it was mine for my first few years. Was I had a big whiteboard and I had the notepad and everything I'd take from my notepad, I'd put it on my whiteboard, and we had little magnets and we'd move the magnets across the whiteboard, and that was our CRM.
Customer relationship management. I mean,
That's all it is.
It usually refers to software, but doesn't technically have to.
It doesn't have to. And we had names on the board, and we just move customers across the board. Yeah, it literally, we did what software does on a whiteboard. It's super inefficient though. And there's so many programs out there now that offer so many features that I wouldn't even have thought of being part of a CRM. Like inside Proline, all the messaging features and the email features and the proposal features, and you can do so much, but you keep your people organized. So like right now, I've got John has all his customers in his pipeline, so he's got his whiteboard on his phone, on his computer, everywhere he goes. He's got his whiteboard in front of him, and only his people are moving through his pipeline. He clicks and drags them wherever they need to go throughout the process. They're receiving the messaging that they should be receiving automatically. He doesn't have to text it to them. It's an automation. He moves them to paid and closed. Boom, they get a receipt. Thank you so much for your business. Blah blah blah. Leave us a great Google review. Well, then Josh has his whiteboard on his. Like, so everybody has their own whiteboard, but it's on their phone. It's on their tablet. It's on their computer. Everywhere they go, they have their whiteboard. They don't have to go to the office to look at a physical whiteboard. So how can it help your business? I mean, it's literally the center of your business. It's the center of your sales process. It's literally what takes care of what manages your customers and keeps them in order of where they're at in the process. You have to have it today. If not, I could speak from 100% experience. People fall through the cracks. Not that the CRM is going to eliminate that. You have to eliminate that, but it will drastically reduce the amount of people falling through the cracks.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. It's one of the early wins in a business is getting a good CRM in place. But then it can easily be one of the early losses if you implement the wrong CRM because
That's right.
it's such a pain. It's such a
Well,
switch.
I spent I spent 2 years on JobNimbus, and I tell you honestly, I think my business would be significantly further ahead if I would have made a better decision at that time. And I'm not saying that JobNimbus is terrible. I'm not. Some people love it, right? There's some people that love it. I'm saying for us and the team we had, we couldn't figure out how to implement it properly. And if you can't implement the CRM, you're wasting your time. So now my statistics from those 2 years that I go back and try to look at to gauge my next year to understand what I did right, what I did wrong, they're completely they're wrong. Like they're just wrong. Like because we didn't implement it to its ability, and now we don't have really solid stats to go off of.
Yep. That makes sense. Um, one thing on that topic. So I don't think I told you about this. We did two really big things recently when it comes to switching CRMs if you're switching to Proline from another system. One of the things we did is we partnered with a third party data firm that is able to extract data from any of the other CRM platforms, and then they can provide that data to Proline to import into your new account. So now, whereas in the past that was something that was very hard to do and you had to do it manually, that's something that for a cost, there's a cost involved. We can refer someone out to this partner that we now have to handle that migration. And then kind of part of that, or one of the things they requested of us, was the ability to support when they're importing data into Proline, support backdating of both project data and payment data. So when data is getting imported into Proline, it's now possible to backdate it in such a way that the old data actually reflects correctly inside of our reporting. I
You
think you
definitely
had a
forgot me
problem.
on that one.
Say what?
You definitely forgot about me on that one because look,
I know.
I don't know. We actually need to talk about this because I got two old CRMs that I still pay subscriptions on because I'm too stubborn to transfer the data on because
Yeah.
I'm like, piss on that, man. I'm not spending all my time,
Yeah.
manually transfer. So we'll have to chat about that.
Well, we'll
What,
try. I'll get you set up. But I think did you have some data that you imported that was not backdated? I feel like you told me that.
sorry.
You're good. Did you have some data that you had imported that was not backdated? Did you tell me that?
Yeah, oh yeah, a bunch. I've got because I imported a bunch of data in January or February, and I don't remember the date. It was right there at the end of January.
Yeah.
So I usually run all my reports from March 1st, just which we do almost no business in the month of January and February.
Yeah.
But I do have like all these contacts and data that came in at this one time that's all dated for the same date.
There is a way to go back and backdate that. it's just not it's not easy. Like you're
Oh
basically,
no, I
you're gonna
definitely
have
pay
to,
somebody to do it.
but you'd have to you can back that data that you already have. Um, there's basically three options. We can delete it for you and then you can re-import it from scratch with the backdating. You can export it from Proline so that you have it linked to the right Proline project with the Proline IDs. Change the dates on it. It's a little bit of manual work, but maybe less than you otherwise would have to do. And then you can re-import that. Or I don't know, was this from JobNimbus that you did this? Was that data?
Yeah.
Do you remember if you used the external ID fields and like included the JobNimbus IDs?
I use some of them. I can't remember it.
Yeah, I just
I
trying to
mean, you're
remember.
talking 8 months ago or whatever it's been. Yeah, it's hard
There's a
to.
chance that you could just re-import the data if I can go and look and see if they have external IDs. If they have external IDs, you might just be able to re-import the same sheet. And depending on what the sheet has on it, if it has the right dates that we need, then you could potentially just pull that over. And that is going to be it's all
That's going to be
hard.
huge for new customers. That's
Yeah,
going to be huge for new customers
yeah, I'm excited
because
about it.
I can tell you that that's a holdup. And just what you said before, choosing the right CRM. Well, the reason you feel and I felt so stuck was if I just work a little bit harder to try to implement this and make things work inside of here, maybe we can get by. And you get that mentality, right? Because you're so scared of moving into something else that you're going to have to lose your data. Or a friend of mine, actually, I've talked to you about him, Mike. He his company and they use JobNimbus, and he's like, it'd be so hard to switch now. We've been using it for X amount of years, blah 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 blah. We'll lose all this stuff. Well, now, if we can just transfer that right over with proper dates and all that, it'd be huge.
Yeah. There's always data loss. That is unfortunately true. Like no matter
Sure.
what, there's always some data loss, um but it's a lot less than it was with where we're at right now with the import and being able to have that managed by a third party and all that. So that it's at a good place right now. But it's 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 so challenging pulling over the data.
Yeah.
But every little thing we can do to make it a little easier and better is an improvement. So,
Sure.
um, all right, let's do another question here. Let's jump over and talk about some production stuff. What technology can I use to improve my roof installations?
Company cam. That's I've said it before, so I don't want to sound like a broken record, but there are two pieces of tech that we use every day, all day. Proline Company Cam in sync with each other. We use Proline to communicate with the customer throughout the day, right? So we use Company Cam. My crews are taking photos all day. And it doesn't matter if you've got in-house labor, subs, whatever you have, it doesn't matter. You have to train your crews. I've been dealing with a sales guy that works for me. We had a couple bad installs. I don't mean to get off the rails here, but it's worth the explanation. It seems like the last handful of jobs he's using a newer crew to us. Great guys, good workers, do good work, but they do it different. They don't do it the way Rain Stoppers does it. So every time it's something, there's an issue, right? And I told him, I said, you know, you gotta train these guys. You have to stay on site. You have to spend some time with them. Tell them. So, like the most recent issue was, people are going to beat me up on this. We always run our shingles up the rakes flush with the edge of the drip edge. I don't want an overhang. I think it looks like shit. I don't like it. It doesn't void the warranty. I've got GAF to tell me it's good enough for me, and I like the looks of it. So, the old school guys always overhung their shingles because they said it helped prevent water from blowing in to the side.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in it. I'm putting ice and water shield up to the rake around, synthetic. If 2 drops of water get in there, I don't care because my underling is going to take care of it. So these guys keep overhanging the shingles. I told my sales rep, you got to train them because they've worked for other guys so many times that do that. That's not how we do it. You got to train them. Same goes with your tech. If you're going to use tech in your business, you got to train your subs, your employees, whoever it is, to utilize that tech. We've got another crew that would not take photos. And I was bitching, raising hell to my one sales guy all the time. Like, dude, there's no progress photos. There's like 3 during the entire job. Like, that's not good enough. Go sit on site all day with them for 2 or 3 projects, one after another. And at every phase that we require photos, I want you to get up there on the roof with them, tell them to get their phone out and take these photos. So we take, photos once our catch-all is set up, just to show that we've protected the house. We take photos once it's tore off to show any damaged sheeting. And this is every slope. We take photos once it's completely prepped, ice and water, drip edge, the whole 9. And we take progress photos of the shingles going on, and then final photos of every boot, flashing, cap, valley, every detail has a photo. My point is, if you don't train the people that are on the job site, you're probably not going to have great production. So if you're going to utilize tech, you have to train them how to use it. Like I said, the 2 pieces we use company cam, we take the photos, we do all the documentation, and then we use Proline to communicate with that customer throughout the project. We don't send them a company cam link like a lot of people do. What we do is we pull photos that are relevant to the communication, and we'll pull out just pictures of the decking, and maybe if there's damaged ones, we'll take those ones out. We'll send 3 to 5 photos. Hey, Mr. Homeowner, we've got the roof completely tore off. By the way, we had 3 pieces of damaged plywood. We're going to replace those for you. Whatever. So utilizing those 2 tools, I mean, it's not hard for us to say where the success is from. It's definitely from using those 2 tools.
Yeah.
Plus, I get to sit in New Hampshire, and I don't even have to get in company camp. I just look at the text that Jennifer's sending out to all the customers throughout the day, and I know what's going on. I know where the projects stand. I know how far we've gotten. I know what damage is done, what we're getting paid, how much, what issues. I can literally watch all of it in real time.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, we have that really good sync with company cam. The only thing it doesn't have right now that I've been looking into is we're not pulling across the marked up versions, but I'm not sure if company cam will let us. Right now we're just pulling across the originals, and when we were building it, they didn't seem to be an option to get the marked up versions, but we're going to be taking a look at that soon, I think. So
Yeah.
I think Zach was actually asking me about that the other day. All right. What is the best way to coordinate with other contractors who might be doing other trades that are associated with the roof? Like maybe they're getting their roof done, but then they're also going to get maybe, or this doesn't really clarify whether or not those are other trades that you sold them or other trades with other people that they're buying directly. But I'm imagining like siding, maybe they have their siding getting replaced. How often does that happen that you're replacing the roof and then you have somebody else doing something else there around the same time?
So the one where it happens is drywall.
Mm.
That's what we see most, and we actually got one sometime this week. The contractor that's doing the drywall, because they've got a bad roof, ceiling's damaged. They called a drywall contractor. They called a roofing contractor, which is great because we don't want anything to do with drywall. But yeah, I mean, how to communicate with them? Just they're contractors. It's easy, way easier than homeowners because they get it. They're not hard to talk to. You just
Yeah.
Yeah, man. we'll do it on, this week. We'll let you know when we're done. That way you can slip in there and get that done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
You don't run into conflicts where they're trying to do it before you guys are done or do it at the same time or anything like that.
what we do is always try to work with contractors. We want to build relationships with other trades. So if we can ever build a relationship with drywallers, hell yeah. What do you need us to do? You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're slow on work and you need to go do this job. Well, we'll try to move this guy to the front of the line. That
Yeah.
way you can go do your work and make your money. Oh, you're backed up. You need a minute. Okay, we'll try to push this off just a little bit. We'll consult with the homeowner also to make sure it's okay with them to wait another week. We always try to work with other contractors because it's who we are. Like, we're contractors. We get it. We want to always. We know how difficult this is. We know how difficult it is for them. This is not easy. So anytime we can kind of relate and take care of each other, that's the key. We're kind of in it together. Is kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that makes sense. Um, do you guys do print marketing?
Yeah. Yeah.
This question is
A couple
how,
different.
say what?
Go ahead.
I know the question is how do I track the effectiveness of our print advertising campaigns?
I don't. I don't give a shit. I don't care. It's just like billboards. I mean, that's kind of print. It's outdoor, but I mean, that's literally just, it's print is what it is. Um, Good luck. If you can track it, I'm going to tell you your stats are still wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I well, in Jonah, for instance, Jonah's great marketing guy, really sharp guy, and loves analytics. And you know, I was wanting to do billboards and radio because I've always done it and I've always had success with it. He's like, "Well, how do you know you're having success?" I'm like, "Well, my fucking phone rings when I fire it up." You know what I mean? Like, that's how I know. My phone's ringing and we're selling jobs. Yeah, but there's no way to track it. Like, I know, but my business thrives when that radio ad plays.
Yeah.
The business tails off when it goes off the air. And I can literally watch it happen. There's not a stat that proves it because we ask every single customer, how did you hear about us? What ad did you hear that made you call us? Well, ask these questions. Nobody says the radio because it's a brand awareness campaign. We've literally just built this brand into their brain that they can't ignore because the radio plays it freaking
They're gonna
30
say
times a
Google.
day.
They're gonna say Google because they
They're
search on
gonna
Google.
say Google every time. And that's why I say you asked me at the beginning of this, what lead sources we see the most, refer on Google. Well, the big reason Google kills it for us is because people hear this radio ad so many times a day. They type in rain stoppers roofing or they type in roofing contractors near me. And when we come up, they're like, oh shit, yeah, I've been hearing them damn guys. So they
Yeah.
just click us and call us. Like, at that point, it's an absolute no brainer because we came up number one or two, and our jingle. I pay a bunch of money for these jingles. I heavily believe in them. I don't think you should ever do a radio or TV ad without a customized jingle. Um, and I've had two on both brands of companies that I've owned. Dude, they're so annoying, but they're hilarious and they're so good. And I paid a lot of money for them, but I swear they've been a huge part of our success. I really believe that. And you can watch. We go on the air for 2 weeks. About the third day, fourth day of us being on the air, calls are through the ceiling.
Yeah.
About the second or third day after it goes off of that 2 week rotation, dead. Like, we just no. I'm just saying, relevancy wise, it just dies. It just our calls completely tailor off or tail off. So yeah, you can't
Uh,
track it. You can try, but it's a
it's
waste of
gonna
time to
be
track it.
it's
Just
gonna be subjective, kind of no matter what.
try it. If the phone starts ringing, there's a good chance it's working. If the phone ain't ringing, it's probably not working.
Yeah. This is I think this gets to kind of a business concept that I have, and that is, I believe, because some of these things, like how do I track, you know, how do I track how my print advertising is doing? And one of the things is like, why do you feel the need to track that? Like there's a lot of things you can focus on in your business,
Mhm.
and like you're saying, it's like it's really hard and probably impossible to do anyway. So it's like, why even worry about that? Great businesses work, they can be improved by like dialing in these details and
Yeah,
dialing in where it makes sense, like where you can and actually get good information out of it. Print advertising is probably not it, but there's other types of advertising where you can track the numbers, and so dialing in that is going to help. But a good business works even when you're doing everything wrong, even when you're not tracking anything, it still works. And that's how you know you have the foundations of a good business. And I I've thought about this with you. I feel like one of your genius moves has been to build your roofing business in a market that was in markets that are underserved. And it's in the name
yeah,
of, your consulting company and podcast, Small Town Roofer.
yeah,
Because I mean, you could have very easily, when you're building your business, been like, oh, like I can only be successful if I go to Columbus, or I go to, Chicago, or one of these big cities, because that's where all the money is. But the thing is, those are not underserved markets. There's not. It's the complete opposite. They're highly overserved, and so it doesn't mean you can't be successful there, but it's going to be an uphill battle. Whereas you've been able to build an incredible business in these kind of largely ignored areas, just simply because, and you don't have to be agonizing about every single little detail. You're able
right.
to sort of just build a business with good fundamentals, and then you excel.
Well, and here's what you're. I appreciate those kind words. Uh, but you're exactly right because I was thinking about it today. Um, I was cleaning up around here and the boys were gone. I was just kind of walking around thinking, you know, there are some people that believe there's a, the majority of the population of this country lives in like 12 counties or 10 counties, whatever it is. I don't know what the stat is. You may know what it is. But like 90% of the US population lives in just a handful of counties. I'm assuming the Houston metro area, the Los Angeles, but New York City, the Boston, those areas.
Yeah.
And, you only need to have a fragment of a percent of market share to be very successful if you're in those markets. But it's so easy to be super dominant. Like, I believe I have over, I would say I have over 30% of the market in the main market I'm in, and I would call it maybe closer to 50 percent. Yeah, I would go as high as 50% in my main market. Um, I don't do anything spectacular. We just do a nice job. We build trust with our customers. We don't take deposits because we want to start the conversation off by building trust. When we sell to them, we try to educate to them. We try to teach them what we're selling them, and make them a smarter homeowner on kind of what they have, what they're getting, and what they should look out for. We just do those things. Like, it's not complicated, you know. Um, the thing is, there's so many little small. My main market, little Marietta, Ohio, right? The little town I live in, it has a population of 35 to 40,000, something like that. The county, the whole county. I'm not talking the city, county. How many counties in the country have that? Like, tons, tons. It's not hard. I didn't do anything great to I just tried to be better than the rest of the guys. I just tried to work a little harder and provide a little better service and communicate a little bit better and offer a really quality product. Like, and sure as shit, here we are. And I'm in these couple little tiny corners of the world that don't exist. And we're making a ton of money and doing a ton of work. Like, I mean, I work 3 crews every day nonstop, and I'm talking like 10-man crews, not 3-man crews. So it's like we don't have to go into these big cities. We went to Charleston, West Virginia, literally not by choice. The only reason we work down there is because a long-standing employee of mine had to relocate because of military purposes because of his wife. I'd never have went there. I never would have went there. But he had to relocate there, and I wasn't about to let him go find another job when I knew he was an A+ employee. Like, if I can keep you, I'm keeping you. And if it means me investing a bunch of money in a market I don't want to be in, so be it. I'd rather have the shitty market and the A+ employee than a great market and a shit employee. So, yeah, I mean, I don't understand the whole concept of going to the big city. Piss on that, man. I'm good right here in my little corner of the world that nobody cares about. The other thing too is private equity ain't moving in on me. I don't have to deal with that. They don't even want to be here. Shit, they've been talking to me left and right. I've talked to probably 5 private equity firms that's wanted to buy me out because they've seen our brand and seen our revenue and this, that. As soon as they find out where we're located, they're like, yeah, that's not really where we're trying to invest our money. Perfect. That means you're not coming in to compete with me either. So
You don't got to worry about it. Yeah,
not
it's
really. No.
yeah.
We'll always be here. The small town guys that are kicking ass will always be around because nobody wants to. Who the hell wants to come to Marietta to sell a roof?
Wow.
Nobody.
Well, people that want to build a great business with not too much competition.
I'm just saying but everybody's been fed the wrong medicine.
Yeah.
You're told to go to the big city, go to the Detroit, go to the you know Houston or Atlanta or whatever. And why? Like, why? Just stay in your town that you were raised in, or and then just go like, yes.
Yeah.
Don't go all the way over here just to go over there. Just let it organically grow out and expand. If it ends up expanding into a bigger market, fantastic. Like, eventually, I think we will be in Columbus. But by God, I'm going to go clear up 70 before I get there. I'm going to get into Zanesville, and I'm going to get into Chillicothe and up in and it'll get to Columbus eventually. But I'm not going to just go start dropping ads in Columbus just to say I'm there.
But by the time you get there, you'll have such a solid foundation. You'll actually be able to invest enough in marketing to actually make a dent.
Exactly. That's the problem. That's the problem and the beauty. The beauty is right now I can buy marketing. I bought in Athens, Ohio, one of the counties where OU's at. It's a little podunk ass town, just like Marietta is, another little college town. But I buy billboards there for $400 a month. I think
Wow.
in Columbus they're like 2,500 or $3,000. Like, I've got the whole freaking town covered in billboards for a couple grand. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like, so yeah, there's not as many people, that's for sure. But if you can take up a way bigger slice of the pie in that market, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Well, we can do one more question, I think. So let's see. Do we got any questions from audience? No? Okay. We
You got one.
oh, we did get one. Okay. Christian asks, does Proline have any customers that want to pull their data into data warehouse by API for their own modeling metric and field logic aligned to their business processes and advanced analytics? Just trying to see if there's even a need for something like that in small to medium sized roofing companies. I'm new to the industry. Christian, I would say no. Um, I think that what you're talking about there is so far like outside. Yeah, totally fine on the length. I know what you're talking about. We have not had a single request from that from any customer. The only thing remotely like that we've had was that other consultant that came from a consulting background, and that he was looking for that sort of functionality to use on behalf of clients. The clients weren't really asking for that. It was a service that he was offering to them. But he was satisfied with the CSV Excel approach. And so the way he usually works with clients is coming in and looking at, okay, how did we do last year? What insights can we glean from the last 12 months? And then let's make some decisions. Let's audit how that went, and let's make some decisions moving forward when it comes to marketing or sales based on that information. There's not really a demand for anything beyond that. That may change, but right now we don't even have we don't have an official API. We do have an API, but we don't have an official documented API just because we've never even had a request for it. So hopefully that helps answer that question. Yes, sir. Okay. Final question. How can I use financing to close more sales?
I try to get my sales guys to do it over and over again. I have one guy, and the way I know that he is very, very um, effective and consistent with offering financing is he's the only one that sells financing. You have to have it today. Like you have to have it. You have to be offering it, and you can't just offer it when they ask for it. That's the problem that I see all the time. The only time my one guy offers it is when it's asked for, and not to degrade anyone, because honestly, I would probably ask if you got, if I'm going to spend my roof be, $20,000-$25,000 roof. I would probably ask a contractor if they're going to put a roof on for me, hey, you got any financing options? I may be looking for 0% or any, whatever, but I may ask. But most people that ask are in a position where they need it. A big part of that may be the situation where they can't get it anywhere else. Well, if that's the case, they're probably not going to be able to get an unsecured financing option through the lender that you are using because it's a little bit tougher. Like it's unsecured. There's nothing to guarantee that loan. So you can't just offer it when it's asked for. You have to offer it every time because we see very often we sell it. And the only reason we sold the job was because we were the only guys offering financing. Nobody else brought it to the table. Nobody else offered it. Nobody else talked about it. We talked about it. We explained it. We gave them a estimated monthly cost. And then, we sat right there at the dining room table right after we did the quote. We got them approved. All in one meeting. It's done. You know that roof's 20 grand. You know that it's going to cost you X amount a month. You know that you're approved. All you got to do is click yes and enter your info, and it's done. But if we don't offer it every single time, most of the people that we could potentially sell financing to aren't even going to use it. So they're then going to look for the lowest price. So if we can be in the middle on price, so we make a good margin, but we offer financing. Now maybe we sell that customer that was looking for a low price, but they said, well, hell, he's 12 grand, he's 11 grand, but God damn it, I could spend 12 grand, but it's only $230 a month. I'll just do that. Hell, that makes more sense. These guys got a little bit better reputation on Google anyway. That's how you have to look at it. And I mean, if you only offer it when it's asked for, you're probably not going to see much success out of it, period. You have to just continue to offer it. It's got to be built in your pitch. AJ, my Proline templates are set up, every single time we send a quote, Proline's got an option in the settings of the quote templates to turn on financing options. We plug in what we offer. Every time we send a quote, as low as X a month or whatever, so there's a we're already teeing that up. We want you to know that you can get that roof for $200 a month if you don't want to fork the cash out today. Um, Proline's quote templates have definitely made a difference in our financing sales. That's for sure. We've seen a big uptick since we added that feature into our templates, because now people see it every time. So even if my sales guy doesn't offer it, they know it exists.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I still want to have more built into Proline than it is. It's already, you can add in your links like we have it now in the estimate and for the financing and stuff like that. But it's just going to get better, I think, over time. We will have an embedded financing solution at some point. So
I can't wait.
yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. All right. Well, let's wrap up there. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see everybody next week.